the Hebrews would use it, the Israelis, or the Hebrews would use it to go and destroy their enemy. And then they needed a place to put it where it was safe. And so all of a sudden King Hiram of Tyre goes off with the gods and comes back and has Hiram Abiff, who is the first master mason, and they create this temple to house this weapon of mass destruction. And of course that all involves gold. And we'll start to find that gold has a way higher purpose than just being stored in vaults as some sort of collateral. Gold actually has many technological purposes, one being monoatomic gold, which is hyperdimensional. And you will find that these same people have been the same ones who have been trying to destroy matter. When you find that the atomic bomb coming through Jet Propulsion's laboratories, JPL is jokingly called Jack Parsons' laboratory, and you go look how big a Satanist Jack Parsons was. And then you find that next they're trying to recreate matter through light, but they haven't been able to quite understand this. Now, before I get to that, let's get to the exopolitical. So
now let me stop you. Let me stop you there, because I just saw a 13-hour DVD of a conference back in Wisconsin. Jim Fetzer, Al Weber, I believe his name is Alfred Weber, an attorney, Judy Wood. They were talking about, Al Weber came up on the podium and talked about a book called Exopolitics, but Judy Wood's theory on 9/11, along with Jim Fetzer's, is directed energy weaponry, which caused the buildings to be pulverized. Do you think that theory is that far out there?
Well, I had Paul Lafley, the World Trade Center architect that is also a Kabbalist magician, who also designs time machines, on my show, and he said that the Bin Ladens came and asked him where to put the demolition charges. So I'm still going with the demolition theory.
No, there's no question that it was a controlled demolition, and I don't want to spend much time on 9/11, but the way it was pulverized, the concrete just actually turning to dust along with the bones of the individuals. Their theory is that there was directed energy weapons along with maybe thermite, whatever it was. Okay, right. But let's not go there. I just was curious about your take on it.
Definitely.
Okay, go ahead. Possible. Go ahead.
Well, so as
exopolitics.
Start to look into this spectrum, and I continually find connections to Sirius. And I even had a what would be called remote viewing experience when I was 10, and I outlined these two races fighting over planet Earth. And then as 28 years pass, I start to find evidence in books like The Sirius Mystery or Dr. Michael Sala's work in Exopolitics, where I'm finding that they keep proving me right. And I didn't know, but as I just follow the clues, that's all I do. And so we find that we have two races that are supposed to be in charge of planet Earth, mining it for its resources, most especially gold, but also the other metals and diamonds and all these things you need for high technology. That's what these things are good for. That's why we stick them in vaults, not for... If you ask me, we're launching all the gold in the Columbia Endeavor for the discovery of Atlantis, our shuttle system, up to the ISIS, or the ISS.
Okay, so
but
on the subject of these two races, what specific races are you speaking?
Okay, so we have a race from Alpha Draconis, which are known as the reptilians.
Okay.
And now what they are classified as doing is controlling human elites, institutions, and financial systems, militarism, creating a climate of scarcity, struggle, and insecurity. And they also deal with the Greys and harvesting Earth humans. Now, if we look into the symbolism, of course, we have the City of London, and their symbol, of course, is the dragon, and the Alpha Draconis reptilians. But then we have another race that is coupled with the Alpha Draconins, which are known as the Syrians. And I will find all kinds of Syrian symbols within Masonic logos. Even Sirius Radio has the pentagram and the eye of the dog. And if you look into the blazing star, which you can find on Freeman TV, you'll see that this is their symbol for Sirius. I talked with members of the Ordo Templi Orientis, which is Aleister Crowley's cult, and they say that, yes, there's a Grand Lodge on Sirius. You find the Sirius Mystery talking about these fish people from Sirius, and that the Dogon tribe of Mali, Africa know all about these fish people from Sirius. And then we connect that to Atlantis and the merfolk. And right outside of campus here on UT, we have a statue of the goddess Columbia. Next to her is a pentagram and a shell to make sure you know that she's Venus, and then also Columbia written underneath her. But she is being drawn forth on a boat being ridden by fishmen riding fish horses. So this merfolk Atlantean connection goes back to the Syrians. But it's interesting because the Syrians were always known for having the high technology, and they would give the high technology to factions and let them fight it out. So now as we start to look into the symbolism of the fish people, the merfolk and the Syrians, we come back to the Vatican. And here is the Pope wearing his fish hat, looking like one of the orders of Dagon. So the fish symbolism and the Order of Dagon and the merfolk are all wrapped up in the Vatican. So we have the Church of England, or the dragon, the Alpha Draconis, or the Church of Rome, which is the Syrians and the fish people. Now, as strange as that sounds, what does the Vatican do? But they have their large telescope under the Vatican. They've got this high technologically advanced library that even Tesla was supposed to have visited. And then we get all of these ideas of sacred geometry and subtle energies. Well, it just turns out on BBC News yesterday, writing in the Vatican newspaper, the astronomer Father Gabriel Funes said that intelligent beings created by God could exist in outer space. He goes ahead to say that the Pope's chief astronomer says that life on Mars cannot be ruled out. Now, this is all right in with my theories. Everything that they're saying is identified and classified all in my work. And here, just yesterday, the Vatican announces, yes, there are extraterrestrials, and yes, they most likely were also on Mars. And when we get to Mars, we get to Atlantis. It's my belief that Mars was Atlantis, and that after the last great catastrophe, the Martians took over Earth.
Well, if you look at, and I've done this, I've gone and, done my research, and I've, with the whole, I had John Lear on my show, was talking about moon basins and so forth, so I went back and I did some research, and I found that the pyramids themselves of Egypt are strikingly similar to some pyramids that they found on Mars.
In the Cydonia region.
What's that?
In the Cydonia region, yes, absolutely.
Right, in the Cydonia region. And NASA, when they shoot these pictures, they come back, they airbrush them, and they don't show us anything. But when you get these pictures and they're unairbrushed, you see just a myriad of evidence that there at least once was life there, including the actual skull of what looked like an android, kind of like C-3PO, in the Star Wars. But you can find those pictures on the net. They're not hard to find. Yeah, go ahead. Fascinating.
I do have those linked to my site as well. They're with Richard Hoagland's work, Enterprise Mission.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, absolutely. All of the evidence just keeps coming in, and it just fits. And the thing is that this fits back thousands of years. So it's not like we're just looking at new evidence. We've been tracking this from the ancient Sumerians all the way up to the Americans. So this isn't new knowledge.
Right. Okay, I'll tell you what, we got to take a break here. Now, I don't know, how much more do you want to cover? You want to open the phone lines today or not?
We could try. I definitely want to get to CERN and HARP.
Okay.
We need this
All right, tell you what, we'll take a break. We'll be back in 3. We'll see how far we get. Michael Herzog, The American Awakening, with my special, very knowledgeable guest, Freeman, with the Freeman Perspective. Back in 3. All right, folks, we're back with The American Awakening and my special guest, Freeman. We're getting the Freeman Perspective today. We've got a short segment coming up to the bottom of the hour here, and a quick announcement I wanted to make. I was mentioning my friend Don Nikoloff. He has a website, directlightproductions.com, and for those of you who'd like to go in and take a look at some of these photographs of Mars and so forth, they're up there on that website, so you might want to go in and take a look at that. Go ahead, continue, Freeman.
Nice. And if anyone wants to have a look at my work, my art, and everything else, I will be in Austin at Ruta Maya Saturday from 10 to 8 p.m. Ruta Maya Coffee Shop. There's going to be a creativity fair and benefit, and I'm going to be there if anybody wants to come see me.
Well, that would be cool. I wish I were there. I'd come and see you.
Yeah, I wish you were here, too.
Well, I may be. Go ahead, continue.
Let's have a look at the state of the world today. Now, as we know, we're sitting under chemtrails. We're having massive storms, volcanoes, the world's going in upheaval, and what's going on. And as we begin to look at this picture, we start to find that we do absolutely have weather modification going on, but this isn't the only thing existing.